Morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you may be. For those that first time here to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome in. Those that have been here before, welcome back, welcome back. This is my what you call run them off. That's the mouth Friday. And today, I don't know. I had a couple of things in mind to talk about. Like the cigar here. Uh, but one of the things we're going to talk about today is training. I've been on a couple of people's YouTube channels listening to their lives and people talk about training. And what I keep hearing is if you're a competition shooter, oh, that's the way to go. If you're a tactical trainer, that's the way to go. Everybody that does any particular type of training, they always push that's the way to go. If you ain't doing this type of training, you ain't training. This is what's going to help you in a firefight. Now, all I can say is, this is just my opinion, not to say those guys are wrong or to say those guys are right. This is just my personal opinion. When you out in the public, situation awareness is it. You can get yourself out a whole bunch of stuff if you're paying attention and you see what's going on. You don't walk into anything blindly. One of the things I did when I was on the streets is when I walked into a location, I figured out 2 or 3 ways to get out before I even start running off at the mouth. You looking around, you know where the exits are. You know what people are doing. You pretty much got an idea of the whole area that you involved in. If you walk into a restaurant, that's why men like to sit with their back to the door so they can see things coming. So situational awareness can get you in there. Does speed matter? Yeah. But tactical training matters too, because you got to know how to get to concealment. You've got to know how to use concealment, how to use cover. What is cover? What is concealment? How does it work? So don't ever let one person that's in one particular type of training tell you, oh, you ain't doing this, you're wrong. The biggest, this is just my personal opinion, is always have your ears open and your eyes wide open. When somebody giving you advice, listen. Then you go back and do your own research. Take it with a grain of salt. For example, I was in a cigar shop last night, enjoying yesterday afternoon with Fat Guy with Guns. We was sitting there enjoying a good stick. And we was curious, we just talking among ourselves, and the people in the cigar bar were friendly. And one guy came by and said, one of the things is if you smoke a real bold cigar, you get lightheaded sometimes when you hit it the wrong way. He said, carry some sugar cubes with you. That help bring you down. Looking at him like, sugar cubes? He said, yeah, that's how if you go to these cigar events, you see guys smoke 5, 6 cigars a day. They usually got some sugar cubes on 'em. Do I know if that to be fact? No. Have I done my research on it? No. But was it good information? Yes. I'm gonna go do my own research, then I believe it. I do my research and be like, oh, does this help? But I would have never known to do research on it because that would have never crossed my mind. What I'm basically saying is you take all that in cooperation. When you go out there doing whatever you need to do to protect yourself and your family, you do some type of training. The biggest thing, in my opinion, of besides situational awareness when you're outside of the house is when you're home, do some training. Go out and shoot your weapon. Be proficient at the firearm that you carry. If you're not proficient with the firearm you carry, nothing else matters. Because if you can't manipulate it, you can't shoot it, what good is it? You might well have a paperweight. So, this is me just rambling on here. But, but what kills me is when people get out here, yeah, it's a good cigar. Look at that. My father. Got turned on to those. Anyway, not a cigar review. So talking about guns and rambling on. But one thing I learned is people getting out here, don't nobody know everything. And it killed me when people get out here and pretend they know everything. You may be a subject matter expert. You may not be a subject matter expert. I don't care. But one thing I have learned in life, no matter how much knowledge you have, you can always learn. And sometimes you learn it from the most unusual places. You know, we teach, look back in time. Remember when these eggs was bad for you, cholesterol and all that stuff, then turn around, they good for you. I don't know how all that stuff, but you know how times over time they say things, this is bad for you. Then later on in life, they say it's good for you. That's called evolving. It's called learning. So take everything with a grain of salt, do your own research, do some type of training. But, and another thing, me rambling on here, is don't downgrade a person because they might not buy the gun you like, or they might not shoot the way you like. Don't get it all twisted like because they don't do the things the way you want it done, mean they wrong. Shit, you could be wrong. And for all that matter, there's a lot of guys out here got some not really nice stuff and very knowledgeable in the stuff they have. You know, very knowledgeable in the field that they're in. You go, you listen, you learn, you absorb, but you also do your own research. You know, life is a wonderful thing. And you know, sometimes we get caught up with all the other things, but we don't do the things we enjoyable. If shooting is not enjoyable for you, then you know it ain't your thing. But I think you still need to have me personally, I think every household should have a gun in it. And if you legally able to carry, you should carry. If you legally able to have a gun, you should have a gun. You know, you should have something on you to protect you, but also have some common sense. Don't go creating a problem because you have a gun on you. Actuality, I carry a gun because it calms me down. You know, it makes me keep my situational awareness up because I know what I have on me. It makes me pay attention. Well, I don't have, I'm always walking around looking, you know, and if I'm not, I'm like this here. Like somebody said the other night, you know, people walk around with their phones all up in their phones, not paying attention to what's going on. Put them phones down. All right. That's my little Ramble Friday here. All I'm going to say is it's Friday. If you don't drink, I'm sorry. Get you a cigar, get you a little bourbon or something to go with it, and life is wonderful. Like my always say, life is good even when it's bad. You know why I say that? It's because tomorrow you can make a change. The next minute you can make a change. With that said, peace, love, and hair grease. You guys have a good weekend.